Arlek was just an ordinary student at the Galactic Academy, curious and eager to learn. He spent his days diving into history, technology, and politics, just like his fellow students. But unlike them, Arlek had a habit of going deeper into subjects that interested him, often wandering into places he shouldn't. One quiet evening, while researching for his final project, he came across something strange on the Academy's database, a file he had never seen before. The file was labeled Project Nightfall. It was restricted, meant only for high-ranking officials in the Galactic Council. But somehow, due to what seemed like a glitch in the system, Arlek had access. His heart raced, curiosity quickly turning into something more dangerous. He knew he shouldn't open it, but something inside pushed him to click. As soon as the file opened, Arlek's eyes widened in shock. He found blueprints and detailed descriptions of a secret fleet of warships called the Black Fleet. These warships weren't just ordinary, they were designed to be invisible, undetectable by any known technology. Their firepower was unlike anything he had ever studied, enough to destroy entire planets without anyone even knowing what hit them. Arlek's hands began to tremble as he scrolled through the documents. There were secret communications between top officials of the Galactic Council, discussing how these ships would be used to maintain control over rebellious planets. Earth, in particular, was mentioned several times. It was clear that the Council saw humans as a growing threat, and the Black Fleet was their insurance to keep humanity in line. For a moment, Arlek couldn't move. He felt like he was in a nightmare. The peaceful image of the Galactic Council shattered before his eyes. The Council, the very organization that claimed to protect peace in the galaxy, was planning something far darker. The Black Fleet was built not for defense but for domination. Arlek knew the gravity of what he had just discovered. If this information got out, it could lead to chaos across the galaxy. But if he did nothing, entire planets, including Earth, could be wiped out in secret. He was just a student. What could he possibly do against the most powerful governing body in the galaxy? After a few minutes of panicked thinking, Arlek made a decision. He couldn't stay silent. He had to warn someone, and he knew just the person. One of his closest friends, Alex, was a human studying at the academy. If anyone would take him seriously, it would be Alex. With a deep breath, Arlek quickly copied the files onto a small data drive. He had to move fast before the system corrected itself and locked him out. As soon as the files were copied, he shut down the computer and slipped the drive into his pocket, heart pounding in his chest. He knew the risks. The Galactic Council would come after him if they found out. But Arlek couldn't ignore what he had seen. The fate of Earth, and possibly the entire galaxy, depended on what he did next. Taking one last glance around the room to make sure no one had seen him, Arlek hurried out of the Academy library. His discovery had changed everything. Now all he had to do was survive long enough to expose the truth. The Galactic Council had always presented itself as a force for peace and unity in the galaxy. To the public, they were the wise leaders who maintained order and protected the planets from chaos. But behind closed doors, their motives were much darker. The Black Fleet, a secret weapon of destruction, was the key to their true plan, total control of the galaxy. The Council had been building these warships for decades, keeping them hidden from the public and even from most of their own officers. Only a few high-ranking members knew the truth. These black warships were designed to be invisible, with advanced cloaking technology that no planet, not even Earth, could detect. Equipped with powerful weapons, they could strike at any time, anywhere in the galaxy without warning. In secret meetings, the Council members discussed their plans. They had grown increasingly worried about the rise of rebellious planets, especially Earth. Humans were advancing quickly, both in technology and military strength. The Council feared that humanity would soon challenge their authority. They couldn't afford to let that happen. Earth had to be controlled or destroyed. "We must act before the humans become a real threat," one of the Council members said during a meeting. "They've already begun developing weapons that could rival ours. If we wait too long, it will be too late." The others agreed. The Council had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years, and they weren't about to let a young species like humans disrupt their power. The Black Fleet would be their answer. They would launch a surprise attack on Earth, wipe out its defenses, and bring the planet under their control before the humans even realized what was happening. The plan was simple but brutal. The Black Fleet would approach Earth undetected, using its cloaking technology to stay hidden from the planet's scanners. Then, in one swift strike, they would destroy key military bases and government buildings, leaving Earth defenseless. After that, the Council would send in ground forces to take over and establish a puppet government loyal to the Galactic Council. "No one will know what hit them," another council member said, smirking. "The humans will never see it coming, and once we have Earth under our control, the other planets will fall in line." The council members congratulated themselves on their brilliance. They believed that with the Black Fleet, they could keep the galaxy under their iron grip forever. They saw themselves as the rightful rulers of the stars, and anyone who challenged them, like the humans, was a threat to be eliminated. But what they didn't know was that their secret was already in danger of being exposed. Arlek, the curious alien student, had stumbled upon their plans. The council had no idea that their carefully guarded secret had been discovered. And as they finalized the details of their attack on Earth, they remained unaware that Arlek was already making moves to warn the humans. The Galactic Council was confident in their power, but they didn't realize that their dark plan was about to be thrown into chaos. The truth was out, and the humans were about to get their chance to fight back. Arlek sat in his small dorm room, staring at the data drive in his hand. It felt heavier than it looked, not because of its size, but because of the burden it carried. On it were the files that exposed the Galactic Council's darkest secret, the Black Fleet, a fleet of invisible warships designed to crush entire planets. Earth was their next target, and Arlek knew he couldn't stay silent. But revealing the truth wasn't an easy decision. He had spent hours thinking about the consequences. The Galactic Council had immense power. They controlled almost every aspect of life in the galaxy: laws, trade, military. If they found out that Arlek had discovered their secret, they wouldn't hesitate to come after him. He could be arrested or worse, disappear, without a trace like others who had crossed the council before. His thoughts raced as he considered his options. He could stay quiet and pretend he had never seen the files. No one would know, and he could go on living his normal life as a student. But every time he thought about staying silent, images of Earth flashed through his mind. Innocent people, unaware that a powerful force was ready to strike them from the shadows. How could he live with himself knowing that he had the power to stop it? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. He needed help, but who could he trust? The Galactic Council had spies everywhere. If he reached out to the wrong person, they might turn him in. But there was one person who might believe him, Alex, his human friend. Alex was different from most students at the academy. He wasn't afraid to question things, and he had always talked about how humans were wary of the Galactic Council's power. If anyone could understand the seriousness of this, it would be Alex. Arlek grabbed his communicator and hesitated for a moment. His finger hovered over the call button. Once he made the call, there would be no turning back. The secret he held could no longer be hidden, and he would become a target. But deep down, Arlek knew what he had to do. He couldn't just sit back while the Council destroyed planets. Even if it meant putting himself in danger, he had to try to stop them. With a deep breath, he pressed the button and sent the message to Alex, asking him to meet in a quiet spot away from the academy. He didn't mention the Black Fleet in the message, knowing that the Council could be monitoring communications. He just hoped Alex would trust him enough to come. A few moments later, his communicator buzzed with a response. Alex had agreed to meet. Arlek's heart pounded in his chest as he grabbed the data drive and tucked it into his jacket. He knew that once the truth was revealed, there would be no going back. But he also knew that staying silent wasn't an option. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, depended on what he did next. With determination in his eyes, Arlek left his dorm room, ready to expose the truth, no matter the cost. Alex sat across from Arlek in a small, dimly lit cafe far from the bustling center of the Galactic Academy. The air was thick with tension, and Arlek could feel his heart racing as he slid the small data drive across the table. Alex looked confused but picked it up, his brow furrowing in curiosity. "You're going to want to see what's on there," Arlek said quietly, glancing around to make sure no one was watching them. "It's something big, something dangerous." Alex inserted the data drive into his personal device, and as soon as the files popped up on the screen, his face turned pale. He quickly read through the documents, his eyes widening with every passing second. There, in plain sight, were the plans for the Black Fleet. the Galactic Council's secret weapon. Plans to wipe out Earth's defenses, plans for total control. The truth hit him like a punch to the gut. This can't be real, Alex whispered, his voice trembling. The Galactic Council, they've always said they stand for peace. This is war, Arlek nodded, his face serious. I found it by accident in the Academy's restricted files. The Council is planning to strike Earth soon. They're afraid of humanity's growth and strength. The Black Fleet is their way of controlling you, of keeping your planet under their thumb. For a moment, Alex sat frozen, processing the gravity of the situation. The Galactic Council, the supposed peacekeepers of the galaxy, were about to launch an attack on Earth, a secret war that no one saw coming. The ships were invisible, the weapons deadly. Earth wouldn't stand a chance if they didn't know what was coming. We have to tell someone, Alex said, his voice firmer now. We have to warn Earth. They need to know what the Council is planning. But Arlek shook his head. It's not that easy. The Council has spies everywhere. If we go to the wrong person, they'll cover this up. We need to be smart about this. Alex sat back, rubbing his temples. If we don't do something, millions of people will die, Arlek. Earth can't defend itself against this kind of attack. They won't even see it coming. Arlek nodded. I know. That's why I came to you. We have to find a way to get this information to the right people, people who can actually do something. Alex thought for a moment, then snapped his fingers. The Human Defense Network. They're a private group of military experts who've always been suspicious of the Council. If we can get the data to them, they might believe us. They've been preparing for something like this for years. Arlek's eyes lit up. It's risky, but it's our best shot. With a new sense of urgency, the two friends devised a plan to contact the Human Defense Network. But even as they planned, the weight of what they had uncovered pressed down on them. Earth was in grave danger, and time was running out. For now, the truth remained a secret. But once it was out, it would change everything. Earth, stunned by the revelation, would have to fight back, against an enemy that had been hiding in plain sight all along. The moment the Human Defense Network received the data from Alex, everything changed. They had always suspected that the Galactic Council was hiding something, but this, the Black Fleet, an invisible force of destruction, capable of wiping out entire planets without warning, it was worse than they had imagined. The leaders of the Human Defense Network gathered in a secure underground facility, far from the prying eyes of the Council's spies. The mood was tense as they reviewed the files Arlek had uncovered. There were maps of the Black Fleet's locations, details of the advanced cloaking technology, and, most terrifying of all, a timeline. The attack on Earth was scheduled to begin in less than 2 weeks. We don't have much time, General Harris, the head of the network, said as he slammed his fist on the table. If we don't act fast, Earth is finished. The room fell silent as everyone processed the gravity of the situation. Earth, their home, was in the crosshairs of a fleet no one could see. The Galactic Council had always been regarded as distant rulers, but now they had revealed their true face, ruthless dictators willing to destroy anyone who stood in their way. We can't let them get away with this, one of the commanders said. We need to prepare a defense, and we need to do it now. General Harris nodded. Agreed, but we can't do this alone. We'll need every resource, every soldier, and every scientist working together. We have to find a way to detect those ships before they reach Earth. Across the planet, messages were sent to military leaders, scientists, and engineers. The Human Defense Network called for an emergency meeting with Earth's top minds. Within hours, bunkers and war rooms were filled with activity. Soldiers prepared for battle. Engineers worked on developing new detection systems, and scientists raced to find weaknesses in the Black Fleet's cloaking technology. It wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a race against time. The people of Earth were stunned by the news. The Galactic Council, once seen as distant rulers, were now revealed as the enemy. Fear spread through the cities and towns as the public learned of the impending attack. But fear quickly turned into determination. Earth had faced threats before, and humanity had always risen to the challenge. They weren't going to let the Galactic Council crush them without a fight. In secret, Earth's military began preparing its forces. Warships were being armed, ground troops were training, and new defensive strategies were being developed. Everyone knew that the fight ahead would be brutal, but there was no other choice. They had to defend their home, or they would lose everything. As the days ticked down, the tension across the planet grew. But alongside the fear was a spark of hope. The people of Earth were uniting like never before. They had been given a chance to fight back, and they weren't going to waste it. General Harris stood before his team, a fierce look in his eyes. We may be outnumbered and outgunned, but we're not going to roll over. Earth will fight! We will show the Galactic Council what humanity is made of. The preparations continued, and Earth braced itself for the battle ahead. The fight for survival had begun. In the heart of the Galactic Council's grand chambers, high above the planet where the Council governed the galaxy, a deep sense of control and superiority always filled the air. The Council believed they had everything under their command: laws, resources, military might. But today, something had shifted. High Chancellor Krenin sat in his throne-like seat, reviewing routine reports when an urgent message flashed across his personal screen. His calm expression quickly faded as he read the alert. It was marked top priority. Someone had breached the Council's most secure files, and the worst part, the data on the Black Fleet had been exposed. His hands tightened around the edge of his chair, knuckles turning white. The Black Fleet was supposed to be their invisible weapon, the secret force that would bring any planet under their control without opposition. The entire plan hinged on the fleet remaining undetectable, and now it was compromised. "Summon the Council immediately!" Krenin barked, his voice cold with fury. Within minutes, the Grand Council chamber was filled with the most powerful leaders from across the galaxy, their faces tense. They all knew that Krenin never called an emergency meeting unless the situation was dire. Whispers filled the air as council members speculated about the crisis. Krenin stood, glaring at the gathered members. "The secret is out," he said sharply. "Our plans for the Black Fleet have been exposed. Earth knows about the attack." Gasps filled the room. A few council members exchanged nervous glances. Others frowned, anger building in their eyes. "How did this happen?" one of the elder members asked. "Who was responsible?" Krenin's eyes narrowed. "An alien student from the Galactic Academy. He somehow accessed classified files and handed them to a human. The Human Defense Network now has all the information they need to prepare a defense. Earth is mobilizing as we speak." The room erupted into chaos. Council members shouted over each other, their voices rising in panic and outrage. "This is a disaster! We must strike now before they have a chance to fight back. Send assassins after the traitor! Silence them before they spread the truth." Krenin raised his hand, and the chamber fell silent again. His cold eyes scanned the room. "This situation is delicate, but we must remain calm. We cannot let this one act of rebellion unravel our plans. We still have the advantage. The Black Fleet remains cloaked, and Earth cannot detect it, yet." The council members nodded, though the tension in the room remained thick. "We will send a team to eliminate the alien student and his human accomplice," Krenin continued. "They must be silenced before the information spreads any further. At the same time, we will accelerate the timeline for the attack. Earth must not be given the chance to fully prepare." One council member, known for his ruthless efficiency, spoke up. "And if Earth resists?" Krenin's smile was dark. "Then we will remind them why the Galactic Council is feared across the galaxy. Earth will fall, and no one will dare to challenge our authority again." The council nodded in agreement, though unease still lingered in the room. They had never faced such a threat before, an enemy who knew their secrets. But Krenin's confidence, his iron grip on power, reassured them. The council would do whatever it took to maintain control. As the meeting ended and the council members dispersed, Krenin stood alone in the chamber, staring out at the stars. His mind raced with thoughts of the coming battle. Earth might know the truth, but in his eyes, the Galactic Council was still unbeatable. "We will crush them," he whispered to himself, determined to prove that no one could defy the Council and live to tell the tale. Alex and Arlek stood on the edge of a dark alleyway, hiding in the shadows of the bustling spaceport. The air was thick with tension, and every sound made them jump. They knew the Galactic Council would come after them, but they had no idea how quickly things would escalate. "We need to get off this planet," Alex whispered, his eyes scanning the crowded streets. "The Council will send their best after us. We can't stay here." Arlek nodded, his alien eyes wide with fear. "I didn't think they'd react this fast. We don't have much time." Just then, a blaring alarm echoed through the spaceport. Alex grabbed Arlek's arm and pulled him deeper into the shadows. "That's them. They're here." The Council's elite enforcers, known for their relentless pursuit of fugitives, had arrived. Dressed in sleek black armor, they moved with military precision, scanning the area for any sign of Alex and Arlek. The enforcers carried weapons designed to neutralize targets in seconds. No questions, no mercy. "We need a ship," Arlek said, his voice trembling. "There's a cargo vessel leaving for the outer systems. It's not fast, but it can get us out of here." Alex nodded, determination in his eyes. "Let's go. Stick close to me." They darted through the crowd, weaving between aliens of all shapes and sizes. The enforcers were closing in, their black helmets reflecting the lights of the spaceport. Alex could feel his heart racing as he glanced over his shoulder, seeing the enforcers spread out, searching for them with ruthless efficiency. "We're running out of time," Arlek muttered, his hands shaking. "They'll find us any second." Alex's mind raced, thinking of any way to escape. Suddenly, he spotted a maintenance hatch near the docking bay. "There! We can use that to sneak onto the ship." Without hesitation, they rushed toward the hatch, sliding it open just enough to slip inside. They crawled through the narrow tunnel, hearing the sounds of the spaceport fade behind them. The dim light of the tunnel cast eerie shadows as they moved, the weight of their mission heavy on their minds. But just as they neared the end of the tunnel, a loud metallic thud echoed behind them. Alex's heart dropped. The enforcers had found the hatch. "Hurry!" Alex urged, pushing Arlek forward. They scrambled out of the tunnel and into the cargo hold of the waiting ship. Alex quickly sealed the hatch behind them and leaned against it, panting. They had made it, barely. The ship's engines roared to life, and within moments, they felt the gentle hum of the vessel lifting off the ground. But even as the ship ascended, they knew the chase was far from over. The Galactic Council wasn't going to let them escape easily. "We bought ourselves some time," Alex said, wiping sweat from his brow. "But they won't stop. We're on the run now, and they'll chase us across the galaxy if they have to." Arlek nodded, still shaken. "We have to stay ahead of them. If they catch us—" "They won't," Alex interrupted, his voice firm. "We'll find a way to survive. We'll get this information to Earth." As the cargo ship sailed through the stars, leaving the spaceport behind, Alex and Arlek knew their journey had only just begun. The Galactic Council was on their trail, and the chase had officially started. But they were determined to outrun their pursuers, no matter what it took. The atmosphere on Earth was electric with tension. The moment the secret of the Galactic Council's Black Fleet had been exposed, Earth's military leaders knew they had no time to waste. Humanity was on high alert, and every military base, warship, and defense station across the planet had been activated. In the command center of the United Earth Defense Force, General Harris stood at the center of the room, his eyes locked on the massive screen displaying a map of the galaxy. Red dots indicated the movement of the Galactic Council's fleet, and their intentions were clear. They were coming for Earth. "We can't wait for them to strike," Harris said, his voice filled with urgency. "We have to hit them first, and we have to hit them hard." Around him, military officers and analysts worked at their stations, monitoring incoming reports and preparing strategies. The stakes had never been higher. If the Black Fleet reached Earth, it would mean total destruction. One of the officers, Colonel Adams, approached the general. "Sir, our forces are ready. The fleet is prepped, and our long-range weapons are fully charged. We have the coordinates of the Black Fleet's lead ship." Harris nodded, his face grim. "Good. We can't afford to hold back. If we don't stop them now, there might not be a second chance." The command center buzzed with activity as orders were given, and the human fleet prepared for a preemptive strike. Earth's warships, sleek and bristling with advanced weaponry, began to rise from their launch platforms, disappearing into the vastness of space. Among them were Earth's most powerful ships, vessels capable of delivering devastating blows with pinpoint accuracy. As the fleet moved into position, Harris stood in silence, watching the unfolding operation. He knew this wasn't just about survival. It was about sending a message to the Galactic Council. For too long, humanity had been underestimated, seen as a lesser species in the eyes of the galaxy. But now, they would show their strength. "Commander, are the weapons locked on?" Harris asked, his gaze never leaving the screen. "Yes, General. Our targeting systems are fully operational," replied Commander Lee, the officer in charge of the strike. "Fire!" Harris ordered, his voice steady. In an instant, Earth's fleet unleashed a barrage of powerful energy blasts and missiles, streaking across the dark expanse of space toward the Galactic Council's Black Fleet. The lead ship, unaware of Earth's bold strike, took the full impact. Explosions rippled across its hull, sending debris scattering in all directions. Cheers erupted in the command center as the screen showed the successful hit. One of the Council's most dangerous weapons had been crippled before it could even reach Earth. But General Harris didn't celebrate. He knew this was only the beginning. The Council would retaliate, and when they did, they'd come with everything they had. "Prepare for the counterattack," Harris commanded, his tone sharp. "This isn't over. We've struck first, but the real fight is coming." Earth's forces braced themselves, knowing the Galactic Council wouldn't let this strike go unanswered. But for now, they had shown their hand, proving that humanity was ready to defend itself, no matter the cost. The battle had ended, but the scars of war were still fresh. Earth had managed to repel the Galactic Council's Black Fleet, but the victory came at a cost. Ships that once soared proudly through space were now reduced to burning wreckage, and countless lives had been lost. Yet, despite the destruction, humanity stood tall. In the aftermath of the battle, Alex and Arlek returned to Earth as heroes. They had risked everything to expose the Council's dark secret, and their bravery had given Earth the time it needed to strike first and protect itself from annihilation. Standing on the balcony of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, Alex looked out at the horizon. The skies were still filled with the faint glow of distant explosions, but the stars above them shone brightly, as if offering hope. "We did it," Arlek said quietly, standing beside him. His alien eyes reflected the lights of the city below. "We exposed the truth. We stopped them." Alex nodded, but his expression was somber. "We won the battle, but the war isn't over. The Galactic Council won't forget this." Arlek sighed, knowing Alex was right. The Council was a powerful entity, and though they had been beaten this time, they wouldn't rest until they regained control. But something had changed. Earth had proven itself as more than just another planet in the galaxy. Humanity had shown it could fight back. As they stood there, General Harris approached, his uniform crisp despite the chaos of the last few days. He looked at Alex and Arlek with a sense of pride. "You two saved us," he said, his voice firm. "The truth you uncovered gave us the edge we needed. The Council won't take Earth lightly anymore." Alex turned to the General. "What happens now? Are we just waiting for them to come back?" Harris shook his head. "No, we're not waiting. We're preparing. The galaxy is bigger than just the Council, and now that their secrets are out, we have a chance to build alliances, to strengthen our defenses. This is the beginning of a new chapter for Earth." Arlek's eyes widened. "You mean we're going to reach out to other species?" "Exactly," Harris replied. "There are others out there who are just as afraid of the Council as we were. Now, with their Black Fleet exposed, we have a chance to unite against them." For the first time since the battle began, Alex felt a sense of hope. Earth wasn't alone anymore. The galaxy was vast, filled with potential allies who had been oppressed by the Council's rule. Humanity had struck the first blow, but now they could lead a larger movement toward freedom. "This could change everything," Alex said, looking back at the stars. "A new beginning for Earth and for the galaxy." General Harris nodded. "It's time for humanity to take its place among the stars. We've proven we can fight, but now we must lead." As the sun began to rise over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the ruins of the city, Alex, Arlek, and Harris knew that this was only the start. Earth had survived the storm, and now a new era was about to begin. An era where humanity would stand as equals in the galaxy, ready to defend itself and fight for a future of peace.